Hey, good evening guys. Welcome back. Tonight we're going to talk about the major differences between errors and varieties in coin collecting. Now, the whole reason why that this has kind of been a topic of mine that I've wanted to talk about, and I can't believe I've waited for so long before I even did a video on this particular subject, is that while I'm talking about certain coins or new acquisitions or talking about coin sales of a specific variety or a specific error, you know, I'll just kind of phrase it as such and classify it as that type of example. However, I've probably, you know, through all of the coins I've talked about over the years, I haven't talked about the major differences. So I've had comments come in with enough regularity that, you know, it is something that I need to address. You know, a subscriber would ask me a question, hey, I have this double die error. Okay, it's not an error, it's a variety, but what is it that you have? And I keep having to explain myself, kind of describe exactly what the difference is on a case-by-case basis. But let's go ahead and talk about it in one video, and you could use it as an informational tool, so that way you know exactly what you find and you could put it into two different classifications. We're not going to talk about price or value because it's all varying and different, and it can be a little subjective sometimes. But let's go ahead and talk about the differences between varieties and errors. Varieties occur like, for example, the picture that you see here, the coin on the left is the world famous 1955 double die Lincoln cent. The doubled die part of it simply means that there's doubling on the die, and unless it's caught early, it could produce coins all throughout the die's life, which makes it a variety. So the 1955 double die is not a rare coin. It's been speculated that anywhere from about 50 to 75,000 pieces exist with this specific error, because the US Mint has made a die's life worth amount of these coins. So that's what a variety is. Double dies, either on the reverse or the obverse. Repunched mint marks is another variety. So a D with an extra D or an S with an extra S punched on there is also a variety, because they've produced enough coins that there's a quantity of them, whether it's 1,000, 10,000, 20,000. And traditionally with varieties, there's enough of them, again, to fulfill a entire die's life. So by the time it goes terminal and you start to see cracks, and then they figure the thing looks worse for the wear, and so they decide to replace it, that's when you'll have a new die set for that particular coin, and then the previous variety, whatever was on there, is now gone, and they won't make any more. Another example of a variety would be like the 1992 Close AM Lincoln cent, where it's speculated that 25 to 30,000 pieces exist. And the missing mint mark proof coins and the business strike coins of the 60s and 70s are another example of a variety, because a number of them have been made. The Montana quarter that you see on the right side of your image is an error. It's a Montana state quarter struck on a cent planchet, a zinc cent planchet to be exact. And what makes it an error, number one, is there's probably only one of that type. So let's say a mint employee had a hopper full of these Lincoln cent blanks that they're ready to put through for, inadvertently, through the Montana state quarter production run. Okay, and for whatever reason, they'll run 2 or 3 or 4 of them, notice it, and then stop the presses, literally, and they'll catch the mistake. Okay, for whatever reason, these coins get sent out into circulation to where savvy collectors like you or I pick them out of change. So that's the difference. Varieties they've made thousands of. Errors are caught early, maybe 1 or 2 escape. Most of the more radical ones are destroyed. Now, what are other examples of errors? Okay, so we have the quarter struck on a wrong planchet size. Double denomination coins, a cent struck on an already struck dime, is another error. Clipped planchets are another error. Brockage coins, full mirrored or not. Capped die coins, where you have a full reverse or obverse. Usually it's the reverse that's full, and then you have a weird looking obverse to where the coin has been stuck onto the die, so you have the reverse image of what was stuck on that die struck on the obverse. I hope I didn't lose you there. But those are all examples of errors that they've only, you know, it's a common production type of miscue. They play their cards right, which, you know, the quality check people this day and age are really good at stopping the machines before they make thousands of Montana state quarters on 1 cent planchets. So there you go. That's the big difference. Now, there is a gray shaded area when it comes to varieties versus errors, and that really revolves around die breaks, okay, and cuds and cracks. Okay, have you guys pulled out some new change within the last 5 years, like a new Lincoln cent, and found a really cool looking die crack that goes from, say, the chin of Abraham Lincoln all the way to the edge? They do exist. And the cool thing is they'll run off as many as it takes, because at that point, when the die starts to crack, they become terminal. Terminal means is they're on their last leg and they're about ready to be replaced. So they may run off 500 or 1,000, maybe 10 or 20,000, depending on how big or small the crack is. Usually if the crack is small, then they'll run off a lot more, and then they'll just keep going with that die till it's ready to be replaced. And that is the gray shaded area. It's more leaning toward the side of error, because it wasn't intended to be struck in such quantities, and because it is a die, a terminal die defect, okay, that will leave cracks and cuts and all that stuff on there. So I hope this video was somewhat of a useful tool. Sorry, it took probably longer than it should for me to explain it, and I know I've been criticized in the past for rambling on too much, especially at the beginning of the video, but if you can listen to the complete story to where everything is corroborated and it makes sense, then you'll know exactly what to look for. Okay, it's not going to be a waste of time. But there you go. Varieties versus errors. If you like the content this evening on what was talked about, please go ahead and hit the like button for me. It's a fantastic tool of a button that's sitting right under the video. For all you folks out there that aren't subscribed to Blue Ridge Silverhound, it's a great channel if you're a new collector, and I talk about everything coins, for the beginners to the advanced. So we talk about it all. But importantly, I hope you guys have a fantastic evening. Enjoy your work week coming up, and stay tuned for more fantastic coin stuff. I'll talk to you soon. Take care.